thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Kagiso Rakosa. Truly appreciate it. I'm really excited for us to just delve deeper into your life. Where have you been? What's happening? What's popping? What should the supporters expect from you, or rather need to know, so that they can keep on rooting for you? So obviously, as I did mention, I've seen that the segment is where are you now? We want to know where you are. So we'll just kick it off with how have you been?
I've been okay. I've been blessed. I don't want to lie, you know. I mean, more specifically, the Women's Month, it has kept us way busy, my team and I.
Yeah.
And I will just delve more into that while we go through the interview. But then it's been good busy. And hence I feel blessed. I'm healthy. There's nothing to complain about.
I love it. I mean, the last time we saw you on screen was 2023.
Yes.
But I don't want us to start there.
All right.
I want us to take it all the way back.
It's a standard. You know that one. There's no other way. We have to. We have to.
I want us to take it all back to 2005
Yeah.
generations. Ma'am, you blew our screens.
Yeah, surprisingly so. I was shocked myself.
Really?
You know, at times when you watch yourself, because I have to, it's a must for me, you know, to watch my work, criticize myself, learn from different kind of production. Did I do well? Or even where do I need to kind of even rectify and stuff. So that particular moment, having to watch it, and it trended. And because at that time, social media was still slowly but surely climbing the ladder, you know. So it was basically go Twitter, you know. And then Twitter were raving about it. I'm like thinking, hey, man. And then having to drive to work the following day, listening to this particular radio station, and they were talking about it. I'm like, this person is talking about me? Like, damn, sorry for the language. Like, what the kwan? What's going on, you know? Having to be a makeup room, it's still talk of, you know, the momentum, makeup artists and everybody coming through, hey, and stuff. I'm like, okay, seems like it was quite big, but I didn't take it too hard. You know, I'm not that kind of person to take such. You know, I would have respected for my craft to be respected in that kind of a manner, which it was at that particular time.
Yeah.
But then also having to respect my physique, you know, fellow Africans. You know, so I went with the flow and obviously appreciated it.
That's amazing. But then I understand that you went with the flow,
Yeah.
and you appreciated the reviews and everything. But it was a thing. So obviously for me, back in 2005, I was still young, couldn't even grasp a lot of things.
Yeah.
But you having an amazing, beautiful body, I think it was the first thing we saw on screen, and
Yeah.
no shade to all the African women, but then it was obvious.
I used to be a gym fanatic, yeah. Because now SABC, there was a gym there. I don't know if it's still there.
Yeah.
So every single time, if my call time was 6 o'clock, I would wake up or even get at SABC an hour before. You know, so not necessarily board aerobics or stuff. I used to lift weights like hectically. You know, taking care of myself, of course, because I mean everybody having to tune in 8 o'clock. They look at the whole package, regardless of delivering the lines. But then overall, Sharon hairstyle. What is she going to come with this time? The wardrobe, you know, a big shout out to the team also, because I mean, much respect to everybody who made sure that the character itself was well put together. So having to take care of myself, I mean, it spoke volumes. People appreciated it. And hence I'm saying, okay, fine. It seems like they're appreciating me going to the gym, whereas it's showcasing itself. I can't complain about that.
But was it a thing back in the days? Was it a positive rave or a negative rave?
Yeah.
About how beautiful you looked on screen and the character Sharon? Because compared to now, obviously a lot has been happening. Men see women differently, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, even if you wear the shorter skirts, it's always, oh, I want that lady. But back in the days, was it always warm? Was it warm?
I think it was warm back in the days. You know, it was warm, and hence for the public to see such an image, for them they were at awe. You know, in a good kind of a way. You know, that's why now, moving forward into years transpiring, unfortunately, that kind of feeling disappeared. You know, that's where you would see others looking at women in a different kind of a mind frame, and then that's why now leading to such ridiculous things happening in the country. So at that particular time, it was a good thing, but then unfortunately right now, you just have to be very cautious of how you dress even. You know, being out in the streets, if maybe you're a commuter, you have to make sure that you dressed accordingly, whereas you appreciate yourself as a woman, but then overall you never know how you're going to be received.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take us through your audition for Generations. How did that
Hey, Vanna. I know she looked at you, gonna take me way back, hey? I studied BCom accounting. Well, I was doing BCom accounts at that particular time, second year, and I joined at that time. It was called Vista University at Davidton.
Oh, okay.
So I joined the pageant because I was told, "Good, go and join." So because in your papa, I'm like, yeah, why not? You know, so having to win the pageant, a friend of mine advised me that there's this particular agency, you know, a modeling agency that is. Immediately when I arrived there, the agent loved me. Within 3 days, like he gave me a call and said, "I want to take you to Generation. They're building a new set." So going to Generation, they're looking for funky people. You know, so having to get there, they loved me. They made me a consistent kind of a background actor. I call it background actor. I hate people who call it being an extra. It's not being an extra. Background acting, because now without them, there is no show also. You know, so we have to appreciate them. That's where I started off. And then afterwards, because there were 10 of us, so they gave us a script. I had no idea what the script entitles. So that's why Menzin Ngubane, a big shout out to him, may so continue resting in peace. He sat me down. He told me that this is how you should do things. Make sure that you don't sleep without knowing your lines. Speak to yourself, you know, because at particular times, still today, I speak to myself, you know, because I learned from him, who in order to kind of be in the character, you have to also make it comfortable within you so that whatever people are going to view, it also translates. Right, so Menzi said, mirror, 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 and then from that moment on, that's when Sharon was created. But then they created it from seeing that at least I get the challenge. You know, the name was created, the family was created. That's where Samuel came into being, because at that particular time, they also wanted a brother of Untombi. So, and then, yeah, that's how I learned also to be an actress.
And that you were amazing on our screens.
Thank you.
And the fact that you were a background character, let me just put it as character, I think that's more formal than saying an extra, which sounds
definitely,
you know. So from there, that's when they recognized you, and then they like, we need this woman on screen.
Or they also wanted a staffer, you know, who had 1 or 2 lines. So having to give us, even I said that there were 10 of us who were consistent background actors. So they gave us a script, and then obviously auditioning for future roles. So I was lucky enough to get that role of, and I remember quite well, my first words was with Menzi Ngubane. I had to say, yes, sir. I was shaking. I could not even sleep the previous night, because I'm like, I'm going to act amongst this, but I'm actually going to have a conversation with the legend, you know. I'm waiting for my cue. When I said yes, after saying that line, I'm like, phew, thank God. Khanti, lines are still going to come through. Storylines are still going to be developing. So Meg Graham at that time kind of told me, he was one of the productions, you know, one of the directors that is, kind of told me that your character is going to grow. So are you comfortable with that? Are you willing to take the challenge? I'm like, let's do this.
And how old were you at that time?
You, I forgot, eh? I was still young and hungry. Yes, you know, like the whole industry kind of fascinated me. You know, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm in the industry now, all right? Even if behind the scenes, people could recognize me because of my hairstyles, you know, before even getting those lines. So having to, for Batubako Kasi, generation, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's me, all right, you know? So, I mean, that's when, and I still love it to bits, because even now, if maybe I were to tell people that my name is Kagiso Rakosa, all right, Kagiso, nice to meet you, Sharon. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
it happens.
Always know you for Sharon, unfortunately.
No, it's all good. It's fortunately, no, I respect their character. They gave me that platform without, it's a big production, Generations, you know, without me having to go to school, because I mean, there's so many people who are qualified and unfortunately right now are jobless, having to take upon any other jobs just to make ends meet, you know. So a big shout out to Generation for giving me that platform without any sort of qualification.
True, and I think you have a beautiful success story that not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
People don't know who Kagiso Rakosa is, but they know who Sharon is, and this platform is just, we're just grateful for you to know, showcase and tell people who you are really. Let's just go back to the same year or the same era. I mean, obviously now celebrating Women's Day, for most it's not relevant, for most it is. How was Women's Month rather celebrated back in the days? Like, take me
back in the days.
Was it something that was receptive, something that was celebrated and acknowledged to the core, with understanding that, for example, if women fought for gender-based violence, they were heard compared to now. Unfortunately, we fight these things, this scourge from gender-based violence, femicide, genocide, but unfortunately,
nothing else is being done.
Is done. But were women heard back in the days?
I think dependently that is, you know, because I mean, Women's Month, the month of August, normally that's where we would get bookings. It's either motivational talks or even events where you to MC, and it's just an event of women. Whereas even to date, that still happens because I mean, I was also MCing for event that was happening on that particular day, Women's Day, that is on the 9th. So. It's escalating, you know, the mistreatment of women or mistreatment of the month itself. It seems like it's losing its value. Whereas right now we just choose to party instead of even remembering why we're celebrating it. You know, so it's a mere fact of, yes, they did it back then. You know, they fought for our rights. But then right now we're getting together, having those jovial moments instead of playing those remembrance videos of this is what transpired in order for the next generation to know why we're celebrating the 9th of August. So it's losing its value, unfortunately, and I'm just hoping that moving forward, somebody out there would make that kind of a difference, and it starts with us. You know, it starts with us. If maybe having to say, typically I'm booked somewhere, how about we play just a little bit of a clip to kind of give respect to all those who make sure that we are celebrating it accordingly. So hence, we'll see next year. You know, I celebrated it well. Everything went smoothly. I'm super fatigued, but then I'm not complaining. And my month is starting next month, so it's still going to be an ongoing circle because my birthday is on the 6th of September. So it seems like I'm not resting for anybody anytime soon. But I'm good. I love being busy. I love keeping busy. You know, I'm always energized. I wake up early in the morning, as I told you. You know, I'm always energized. When I get home, I feel that physique, like, you know what, I need to rest. I need to just shut down all the noise. My voice even, you know, because I mean, right now, ninning it deep ninning impact issue at times, but then I'm using it on radio right now, which is a good thing. I'll tell you all about it while we continue.
Awesome. And just to, you know, round it off, or rather just fast forward from generations, okay, so on and so forth, 2023. You feature in this beautiful, amazing series. Tell us more about it.
Makhaye. Oh my goodness. You know, at times when you're given a script or audition and they were to tell you, oh, now you're going to play a formal role. Because I used to shy away from formal roles. And when I was told that I'm going to play a cop, I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see, let me make some research because I believe in making research, you know. So having to research it, it seems like a character, whereas, yes, she is formal in getting her job done. But then after that 9 to 5, going back home, that's where we would see her come out, you know. I enjoyed working with my fellow actor from Generation, Tato Mulamo, you know. He was my love interest, and the likes of Kabunina was also there. Like, you know, just having that reunion that is with my fellow actors and celebrating. I mean, it was such an honor to actually play alongside Stumo because I respect his craft. So a whole lot of people that I respect, and that whole production was beautiful. So I enjoyed it, and others call it my comeback. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but then, I mean, it is what it is.
So where were you during that time before Mahayeng? Because people would call it your comeback.
Sure. Well, where was I at that time? What was I doing really at that time? There were just one or two nyan. I'm not a person at that particular time. I wasn't a person of social media. I prefer to do things like just andachi. Whereas, I mean, now having to market yourself via social media is quite crucial, you know. So at that time, I didn't believe that whatsoever. You know, I would do maybe those small roles and then not necessarily market and say, hey, by the way, I'm going to appear on this kind of production, you know, and also doing things aside, being a businesswoman, you know. So that's when I also needed some time out because the character of Sharon came through unexpectedly, and having to also say, I think for 7-8 years, having to portray their character. Sometimes I used to be on set from 6 until 6 p.m., 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. So I was so fatigued. After Yona Sharon, I shot Kokelen with Mam Lilian Dube. So there was no time to rest. So for me, that I think 2 years, I would say I stand corrected. I kind of took that time to wusa, learn or even find myself back. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm finding myself having social anxiety now. I think that kind of killed me in taking that break. But then slowly but surely, climbing the ladder and also having to embark into the radio industry, because I've been told a whole lot of times, like, hey, you should use that voice of yours, go radio. Went to One Africa Radio TV. It was down, not too far from SABC. And I spoke to a friend, Rashid K.
Yeah.
Rashid, can I shadow you? And then shadowed him. And then that's when Mr. Michael Safo, who you just now met, the CEO, called me. It was during the festive season and told me that, you know what, I know you don't have that much of experience, but then you look like you don't mind any sort of challenge. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'll come through. And then from that moment, that's when my radio career started.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I just want to touch on a very powerful point that you pointed out, which is the social anxiety of, is it the media in general, the acting industry in general? Would you say it taught you how to be reserved or maybe calculative in your moves during? So after Sharon, obviously it was a big character. Did it teach you how to be calculative, or were you scared to come out again to maybe a different movie or a different soapy and was scared maybe people are not going to be receptive of you at that time?
Not really, because truth be told, I'm a shy person, so I don't like necessarily to be in people's faces, unless if, of course, I'm in a certain production. Other people might think, I'm a very shy person. I always say people don't believe me. Even Tato doesn't believe me, or I'm a shy person. I'm very shy, Tato. But then being shy and a whole lot of people asking, oh, Pina, hey, we miss you. I didn't know how to respond to them. You know, I'm like, okay, fine, what do I say? I do attend auditions, yes. But then being a whole lot of artists who are still hungry, as much as I was still hungry back then, you know, wanting that one role. So one person might be chosen, and then when I get a little bit of a break, 3 months, and not going to auditions, that also brings upon the social anxiety. So I think the public made it that anxiety, because having to step out to happy, definitely a person, even if before seeing me, but then they will recognize my voice. If maybe I'm standing behind you, you know, Sharon still, Ugupi, hey, what's going on? Hey, where's Umpendulo, the kid, you know, Samuel Ugupi in. I didn't mind, but then overall being out there, I kind of shied away from it and decided to just be introspective.
But also, I think I kind of get it, because the character came unexpectedly.
Exactly.
I mean, you were just like...
I'm just a young somebody enjoying being in the entertainment industry. Like, oh, I mean, come on now. This, I was at awe, you know. So that moment for me, having to share it with the public, they wanted to see more of me. I honestly want to apologize to them.
Please do, please.
I want to apologize to everyone who's been asking where I'm at. But then now, because of social media, you can follow me in all social media platforms, besides from X. I'm not on X, yeah.
Okay, why are you not on X?
I am more than just it's not for the faint-hearted, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's too negative, but then I truthfully choose to share what I want to share. I don't want to be directed, because it's my page. You know, I don't even want to be kind of being bullied, because I've seen a couple of personalities, if I might put it like that, who have been bullied. So I choose to stay away from negative energy, if I'm making sense.
You absolutely are making sense. Have you been bullied in the industry?
Of course.
Really?
Even before the industry. Even before, like high school, I used to be bullied, like numerous times, you know. So that kind of gave me a thick skin, you know. And having to be bullied within the industry itself, I mean, I knew how to handle it, you know. Female bullying, more specifically, because Iban Toya will hate kind of not necessarily building each other, but then I hate you because of. I hate you because of now you are Sharon and people are recognizing you. Why are we still being actresses? When actresses, that is, sorry for that, we are not being recognized in that kind of regard, but then we feel like we are more talented than you, but then you are being recognized. So it's that kind of a feel. And outside then how hi, like, oh, okay, but then just a couple of minutes ago, you understand?
That's
so
actually a thing in
it is a
the
thing.
industry.
Unfortunately, it is a thing, but then you need to know how to handle it. It's not for the faint-hearted, the industry that is. So you need to know very well how to handle it and ask, for even advice to those prominent figures, the ones that are established. If maybe you have that kind of relationship, or even direct message them asking, Ori, I'm new in this industry. How can I handle it? Because I feel like I'm being bullied. I'm choosing to step away because I feel like I'm being bullied. Whereas you are also shying away from your talent, So ask for advice, and also if maybe your agency, because I mean that's how you would know of certain auditions. Ask your audition, or I need this kind of a help. I feel bullied, or I don't know how to handle this kind of situation. How do you, being an established agency that is, how can I even handle this matter? So it's important to actually research or even know your story before also indulging or being in the entertainment industry.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your radio career.
Yeah.
How did that come about? And is it the same with acting?
It is, because I would animate it. I act out, so to speak, but then I believe in also making that connection, with the listeners. Going back to how I started, remember I also said that I went to Shadow Rashid. So a big shout out to him for also giving me that opportunity, because now after shadowing him, the CEO gave me a call and said, we need someone to co-host Drive Show. So are you willing to come through? No experience, nothing whatsoever. Came through because I'm a first star. And then after more learning the system, and then afterwards they gave me my own show. The system still, it was kind of tricky, pardon me, for me to handle it. But then I managed, and then afterwards the CEO said that I love your work. It seems like now you are adapting into the whole the being a host, co-host rather. How about you be a co-host? I'm like, how about you be a host for your own show, being a breakfast show, So that was quite intimidating, because breakfast show is quite a big role to play, So upon taking that, and I enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it, leading to 4 years now.
Insane.
Yeah.
Do you think we should expect you in the
commercial
on screens? Yeah.
You mean commercial radio or acting?
TV acting.
Yeah, recently I did Muvango. Before they closed the production, I was portraying Imani's lawyer regarding the rape case. Huge storyline. I enjoyed it. It challenged me. Forgive me, I missed that. You missed that. Oh. You should check out my socials, because I just a little bit of clips there and there. So it was quite a challenging role. I loved it to bits. That kind of showcases that I love or even miss being on the small screen, and I do know that something will come up definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And just to close it off, Women's Month. How do you feel about it now, from then to now? How do you feel about it? Should it be celebrated? Should we continue to celebrate the people, the women that fought for us, fought for our freedom, democracy, and everything else?
I think not necessarily, can I just generalize it that everybody should celebrate every day accordingly, because truthfully, there's so much that transpires in a day. Immediately when you step out of the house, you never know what's going to happen to you. So every day is a blessing. I always say that every day is a blessing. That's why having to be out there and choosing to celebrate every moment is quite crucial. Whether you're having a bad day, a good day, that too, it passes, and then we learn from our mistake, we learn from the history, and keep it present. So yes, the Women's Month, celebrations, I would think that going more in depth regarding the celebration, and not making us lose the value is quite crucial. But then regarding celebration, every day you should celebrate life, because nowadays life is too short.
Oh, that's amazing. And just lastly, what should your fans expect? Your supporters have been waiting.
Yeah.
What do they expect?
Right now, they can listen to me, radio, one of the top 5 in Gauteng, that is One Africa Radio TV. And a big shout out to all those who listen up, Right, so you can catch me at Good Morning Africa Breakfast Show. You will see the link on my socials, being Kagiso Rakosa. My show is a Wednesday to Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. That's where you'll find the interaction, the conversation. It's a beautiful show. I grew within it and I am loving it. Because now of the love, I am now the managing director of One Africa Radio TV. Yebo, imbogodo, injalo. Yeah, that's another role that that people can actually, or even having to share with all the viewers that is. So I'm now a managing director here at One Africa, which is super stellar because now the team, executive team, is led by women. So a big shout out to the CEO for trusting women to run the production of One Africa Radio TV. And also, yeah, fingers crossed, you'll hear of my movements on my socials. I give you their handle. So whatever is going to transpire, definitely keep on following me, and then something will definitely come up. Small screen, behind the scenes, whatever I'm doing is going to be showcased on my socials.